Please tell me your name.
So my name is Kaushik Patnaik.
And your roll number for this exam?
308896.
Okay. Please give me a formal introduction.
Sir, my name is Kaushik Patnaik. I come from Bhubaneswar, Khordha. So I did my BTech in year 2011 from ITER. Currently now that is under SOA University, Shiksha Anusandhan. After that I have been working as a consultant in Tata Consultancy Services Limited for almost over 10 years. So this is my brief background.
Okay. एथरे आपण ऐड करी परिबे आपनकर हॉबीज और अचीवमेंट्स.
Okay.
Okay, my hobbies are here. और कुछ अचीवमेंट्स ऊपर आपण कहबे. सही इंट्रोडक्शन दे.
Okay.
Picture my introduction, but still then टिके हमर प्रैक्टिस करबे अछि.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me something about your home district.
Sir, my home district is Khordha. So before 1991, the erstwhile Khordha district got separated, and Khordha district, Nayagarh and Puri was formed. And during the British time, it was the hotbed of Piker Revolution, and many revolutionary things happened here. And in the present time, Bhubaneswar in particular is becoming the sports capital of India. Now we have been the recent Hockey World Cup was hosted by Odisha, and it happened in Bhubaneswar. The upcoming Men's Hockey World Cup in year 2023 is going to be Bhubaneswar is going to host the Hockey World Cup. And recently we have been in terms of FDI and in terms of other investment avenues, Odisha has been has been consistently coming on the top 3 states of India, and Bhubaneswar is definitely coming as a center space of all those development.
Okay. So your date of birth is 8th May, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me something about the importance of 8th May, like any important celebrations on that day is observed, like something, or any personality whose birthday or death anniversary is on that day.
Sir, 8th May is celebrated as the International Red Cross Day. That is the birth anniversary of Sir Henry Durant, who was the founder of the Red Cross Society. That is the important event that happened that day.
So you know about the Red Cross movement? There is also something associated called Red Crescent. Can you tell me what is this Red Crescent?
Sir, as far as I know, the Red Crescent, the Red Cross and Red Diamond are 3 different verticals of the Red Cross Society. That's all I know at this moment, sir.
Why Red Crescent? Any reason? Which countries it is basically, functional?
I'm not aware, sir.
Yeah, that is basically in like the Islamic countries, because they had a problem with the Red Cross.
Okay.
Although the cross of the Red Cross is completely different from the Catholic cross. Okay, so they had some issues, so that is why it was made like Red Crescent Society for some of the Muslim countries.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then, so you have stayed in Kolkata for 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Around 5 years, and now after that in Bhubaneswar. Okay. And so you are still working with the Tata Consultancy Services?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just after passing your engineering, you joined directly?
Yes, sir.
And you have not changed your company?
I tried to change twice, but I got some very good hikes, so I decided to stay back. Also, I got some suitable role in the year 2016 and 17. Around that time, I got some early promotion, so that prompted me to stay back.
Okay. So 10 years means now what you are in, like mid-level management post, or senior management post?
Yes, sir, it is a mid-level management post. I'm still into technical consulting, but with almost 10 years of experience, people usually move into pure management, but I'm still managing the technical side as well as the people management side.
Okay. And what are the reasons why do you want to move to civil services? And suppose your first choice you have given as Odisha Administrative Service. Suppose you even get into Odisha Administrative Service at the entry grade, I think your salary may be less than half of what you would be getting now.
Yes, sir. I think there are two aspects to it. The first is the money part. We can call it as a salary, and second is the job experience, the kind of exposure that Odisha Administrative Service is going to give me, that is going to be enormous. Like if I think about next 25 years or 30 years, like if I stay in IT, I will maximum, I mean, I will rise up to the rank of a senior project manager or senior architect, so on. But mostly my primary job will revolve around and technical consulting as well as people management, and these are the two things where my job roles will mainly revolve around. But when I come into Odisha Administrative Services, there are n number of department and different kind of responsibility it offers, and I believe that is going to be a very rich experience personally for me. And I believe I can add value to this job because I am already into people management and all those skills which I believe is a transferable skills which I have learned in last 10 years. I believe I can take all those things into this new job where I am trying to get into. So the primary reason why I want to switch is I am thinking about the next 25 or 30 years till the age of 60. I believe the OS is going to give me a very enormous and personal rich experience. So that is the primary reason.
Okay. So you are happy with the less pay?
Sir, I have some other income. I went through the Odisha Service Conduct Rule, which I think is that is compliant. I mean, I have some other income as well from technical consulting and freelancing. I don't think I'll be doing that after joining OS definitely, but still there are some avenues where one is allowed to make money doing educational activities. They can create educational videos or they can create technical material which people are willing to pay for, and they can still doing that even being in OS. So I think I'll be able to keep doing that.
Okay. So currently what is your job profile, what are your duties and responsibilities?
Sir, at this moment I am a solution designer come team lead. So I am managing a team of around 20 to 25 people. So there are developer, testers, and also I am involved in learning and development activities where one of the responsibilities is training the new joinees in my domain. And along with that, being a solution designer, my responsibility in project to suggest solution to the client, and also the pre-sales activity where we pitch in different solution and accordingly we get business for the companies. So these are the primary things which I am involved with.
Okay. So your hobbies include traveling, part of CSR arm of TCS, TCS Maitri. So traveling, which all places you like to travel?
Sir, mostly so far I have traveled almost all of the northeastern India, northern India, and part of southern India. The western side of India is still unexplored. Mostly I try to do backpack traveling. I mean, the term backpack traveling means we try to travel for longer period of time with less money. So that is called backpack traveling, and personally I like to do that.
Okay. And what are the important things that you learn, or you can say the values, or what you learn from traveling which you can use in administration?
Sir, one thing is situational awareness, like how to deal with in uncertain situation. Like when we are traveling, we are not in our comfort zone, so definitely many things can go wrong. So for example, while I was traveling in North Sikkim, I was stuck for almost 18 hours due to landslide. So that is one of the unexpected situation which we may encounter during the travel. So that teaches us resilience, how to deal with people, how to take help from people in uncertain situation. And I believe these things are very much necessary in administration, because at the end of the day we are dealing with people by taking the help of people.
Okay. So, what activities, CSR activities did you do in this TCS Night 3?
So it is primarily the school activities where we conduct different competition in school for underprivileged children. That is one thing. And secondly, it is community services. Like we are tied up with Spurs Hospital and various other NGOs. We are working for the palliative care for cancer patients. So we do, sometimes we do fundraiser activity for them as well. As well as most recently, before COVID time, we were involved in plantation drive, sanitation, and couple of other activities, sir.
Okay. So, can you tell me what is the amount spent by your company last year or this year on CSR activities?
So I don't know the exact amount, but as per the law, the company is supposed to spend 2% of their annual profit. The annual profit is calculated on the basis of last 3 years average annual profit. So by law, they are supposed to spend at least 2% of their annual profit in CSR activities.
So being a Tata company, it is expected to spend more. I guess it is spending more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Fundraiser activities, what do you mean? How do you raise funds for the cancer patients?
So for example, in that particular NGO, we have also the group of doctors and caregivers who know the subject very much. Now, first what we do when we get some request regarding, let's say the person is not financially well off to carry out his treatment as various hospitals. So at the first what we need to do is, we basically take their medical case and the doctors do evaluate their situation, how genuine is the case. And once the case is found to be genuine, we actually get all the relevant medical documents after getting the consent, because they are personally sensitive information. So we take care of that legal aspect as well from the patient or their relatives. So after getting the relevant details, after validating all those things, we basically tied off with different organizations such as Milap, Keto.org, who are basically platform for fundraisers. So we push those profile to those portals basically, and that is how we act as an intermediary for those patients.
Okay. So what is your opinion then about this concept of crowdfunding? And nowadays we see that in social media that some particular drug costs 16 crores,
Yes, sir.
especially for kids. Within 2 years, it has to be given to them.
Yes, sir.
And through crowdsourcing, it is being done. So, as a concept, what do you think about crowdsourcing, and what are the precautions that we need to take? And suppose this concept is to be used in administration, so how will you use it?
So definitely it is a very good concept, because it allows individual people to take part in a particular initiative. So for this case, it was the 16 crore vaccine that was supposed to be developed for that particular disease, and it being a rare disease, it is not available in the market. So being an individual player, any person can contribute as per his personal capacity. So I personally believe it is a very good initiative, and the same thing can be applied for other social and economic issues as well. So in this case, they tried to fund a vaccine for that particular child. Now same thing can be leveraged for the causes such as sanitation drive, Swachh Bharat Mission. I mean, in many of the public-private partnership things also, we can invite people's those things can be crowdsourced to get extra funds from the general public. And the challenge involved here is the legal aspect, like the kind of money that we are getting, that has to be accounted. We have to make sure it is not generating some sort of black money. That is the one thing we need to make sure of that. And second is the we need to make sure that the reason for which we are raising the money, the reason is genuine. It is actually going to the intended recipient and it is going to the intended reason. It is not going to somewhere else. So this can be, sir, I think leverage, as I said, for example, Swachh Bharat or any kind of sanitation drive, or we can say, we can consider PM Care Fund as a fundraiser also, because the Honorable PM asked the common citizen to pay in their capacity to check COVID. So that is a good example of crowdsourcing as well, sir.
Okay. So, coming to your special achievements, you are nominated by employer for leadership development programs. What do you mean by leadership development programs? Like you took some training?
Sir, basically based on peer review and annual performance review, like people get nominated for certain leadership development program which is happening internally within my organization. Like less than 20% of the eligible people actually do get nominated to those kind of programs. So that was based on last 2 years annual performance review as well as current project review and peer review.
Okay. Experience in international assignments. So, have you ever been for assignments? You have been abroad?
Yes, sir. I was in Sydney for one of the assignment on business visa. That was for around 4 months. So I was the point of contact from TCS side, and my primary responsibility there was technical consulting only.
Okay. So, like, if your company now offers you a long-term position, in, let's say US or Australia or in a developed country, and at the same time you are getting through Odisha Civil Service, so what will you do?
Sir, at this moment I do have valid visa for Australia. I chose not to go there and I decided to stick here, sir.
Okay. Won many on-spot awards. What do you mean by on-spot awards?
So basically, the on-spot award is TCS terminology for every 15 days or every twice a month, they nominate people based on the recent performance, and they do celebrate their performance within the team, within the project, within the vertical. So in my project there were many things which were achieved during, even before the decided timeline, within the right budget. So my team, I mean individually also I got couple of on-spot award, and my team also won couple of them in recent months, sir.
Okay. And you're now managing a team of 20 plus people.
Yes, sir.
You're managing them like virtually or physically? I mean, they are in your office or spread?
They are spread across different locations, mostly Kolkata, Bhubaneswar and Chennai, sir. So now, because everyone is working from home, it is virtual only.
Okay, so this working from home thing, suppose the government asks you to somehow implement it in administration, is it possible? Working from home, let's say for OS officers?
I think to some extent it is possible, because I mean, being in Tahsildar, we cannot work from home because there are many validation we need to do physically. For example, there is a sale deed, the land transfer is happening, so the officer cannot just simply work from home and complete that transaction. Both party has to be present in that court, and these are the things where physical presence is necessary. So apart from these scenarios, there are many other things. I believe most of the work in Tahsils are being conducted through portal and through workflow. So those things can be easily done remotely, and there is no need to come to office. But there are things like the hearing of certain petitions, or let's say sale agreement of land or different properties. These things need physical verification by the officer. So these things cannot be done in work from home mode.
Okay. So, why have you chosen Odisha Administrative Service first, and cooperative service last. Any specific reason?
So Odisha Administrative Service, basically it allows me to work in almost all the department of the government at different capacities. But when we are talking about cooperative services, it is mostly confined to the ARCS, DRCS and so on. It revolves around the cooperative service only. But OS is something like, I mean, we can go to any department under any capacity. So the job scope is much wider in OS than OCS. That is the reason why I chose OS.
No, in Group B, ORS, OTAS and OCS. Okay. Hello. Within these three Group B services, why you have chosen revenue service first, and within Group B,
Okay.
and Odisha Cooperative Service first. हाँ वैसे मतलब 10 मिनट लगे.
Sir, ORS officers become OS in 3 to 4 years time. At least they become eligible to enter into the OS. So that is the primary reason why I chose ORS as a first service among the Group B services, sir.
Okay. What about OTAS? Like they will be promoted to which service?
Sir, I think in around 6 to 7 years time they will be promoted to Odisha Finance Service.
And what about OCS? Odisha Cooperative Service?
Sir, as far as I know, they will remain in OCS. I'm not very sure, but that's what I have heard.
Okay, fine. So, why have you taken home science and geography as your optional? Electronics and telecommunication. Okay, this subject is not there in the list. But you could have taken other subjects. Why have you chosen? This is your first attempt in this exam?
No, sir, third attempt.
Third attempt. So you have maintained the same subjects for all three attempts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are the reasons for choosing home science and geography?
Sir, firstly, I thought these are the subjects which I can cover on my own without much external help, because I was working, I am working full time. So I chose this subject because I thought I can complete the syllabus on my own, and that was for geography. And for home science also, I thought it was quite mark fetching and the syllabus is limited. I thought the time management could be better if I choose home science than any other optional subject.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How this knowledge of home science and geography will help you as an administrator?
Sir, for geography, the syllabus mainly revolves around the physical geography as well as the human geography. So when we speak about the human geography, I believe the scope of this human geography is very much in line with the needs of what is expected from an administrative officer. Because we get to know about the physical surrounding, we do learn about the disaster management, and Odisha being a disaster prone state, it is anyway the knowledge is going to come handy, what we learn in geography as a part of human settlement geography, regional planning and all. These things are very much relevant in administrative scenario. And regarding home science, I believe the home science extension is very much in line with the administration, because the knowledge of agriculture and home science is extended and is being put in such a form which is useful for the common public, and that understanding is very much necessary, be it community development, community planning and so on. So I believe these are the ways in which they are going to help.
Okay. So how do you compare the life at Kolkata and Bhubaneswar, two capital cities of two states?
Sir, I believe in Bhubaneswar, life is personally I think life is at much ease because we do not have the traffic problem which is much severe in Kolkata. That is one of the thing. The quality of life in Bhubaneswar is much better. We can call it in terms of sanitation, in terms of air quality, in terms of drinking water quality. So in these matters, I think Bhubaneswar is far superior than Kolkata. But what I miss in Bhubaneswar is the cultural essence. Like in Kolkata, around half of the time of the year, you see some kind of cultural event is happening almost in any part of Kolkata, which I think is missing in Bhubaneswar, and which I think we need to give more stress upon this because we have a very rich cultural heritage, and I think personally we are yet to capitalize fully on this aspect.
Okay. How do you compare the current industrial situation of both the states?
Okay.
Industries in Odisha and industries in Bengal.
So, in terms of foreign direct investment and other investment avenues, Odisha has been in the top three of the country. I believe it is in the top three. So, we have been able to attract many foreign investment, and most recently, we are working on our way. We are working to become the knowledge capital of India. Like the skills. There is a new building that has recently come up in Bhubaneswar, which is for skill development or skilled manpower development. So we are doing much more initiative like this. But in Kolkata, I believe, or in West Bengal in general, I think they are lagging in terms of attracting more investment. So for example, in the year 2013, Infosys signed an MOU with the West Bengal government, but they withdrew from that agreement simply because they didn't get the necessary node. They didn't get the land, basically. They didn't get the SEZ land from the government. So I believe in terms of attracting investment, West Bengal is far behind Odisha. And also in terms of general law and order situation, Odisha is much safer and is at a better situation than Bengal.
You did your 10th from Budaraja High School, Sambalpur.
Yes, sir.
And your graduation is also from GM Junior College, Sambalpur.
I did my 10 plus 2 from there, sir.
Sambalpur.
Yes, sir.
Why? Like your district is home district is Bhubaneswar or Sambalpur?
Sir, back then my father was posted in Sambalpur for around 6 to 7 years. We were there. Sambalpur and Bargarh. So I did my high school and plus 2 from there. That is the reason.
Fine. So Budaraja High School Budaraja is basically some king was there? Or?
Budaraja is basically hill within the Sambalpur town only.
Okay.
So
it's basically the name of a hill.
yes, sir. And that high school is situated on the foot hill of that hill, sir. That is the reason why it is named after.
Okay. And GM Junior College.
So that is Gangadhar Meher Junior College, which has now become GM University.
Okay. So please tell me something about the contribution of Gangadhar Meher and if you have read some of his works.
Sir, Gangadhar Meher was a very known poet where his literature work mostly revolves around the personification of nature, and by some critic he was labeled as the nature poet because he was good at personifying nature and various aspects. So the famous poem by him was Biswadakha Madhumaya. I think that was written in a very famous book. I am unable to recall the name of that book. Kichchaka Badha was one of the book written by him.
Okay, fine. So that means you stayed in Sambalpur and Bargarh around 7 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you tell me what are the major reasons for the regional disparity in Odisha, like the coastal belt and the other parts of Odisha?
Yes, sir.
And particularly in case of Western Odisha, government had or has the Western Odisha Development Council. So has it been successful in bridging that divide the regional disparity?
I think the Western Odisha Development Council is working hard to plug that gap, but there are still a lot to be done in that regard. So primary reason of, I believe, for the regional disparity is the natural reason. Like most of the region in Western Odisha, apart from the Sasan Canal and Bargarh main canal, most of the regions are not well irrigated. So the problem with drought is omnipresent every year. So almost every year we get the news of drought in most part of Bargarh, Balangir, Nuapada and so on. Only a very small percentage of Bargarh and Sambalpur and Jharsuguda districts are irrigated. That is one thing. And second thing, it is again the farmer distress. Actually, even though we are calling Bargarh as the rice bowl of Odisha, the farmers are not getting the MSP, which is set by the government. The farmer distress is one of the reason, and Western Odisha basically being the agriculture driven region, so any problem that is happening around farmer and agriculture is going to create more problems. So I believe these are the main reasons which are creating regional disparity. And the third reason could be the tribal belt. So the districts such as Kalahandi, part of Balangir, Nuapada, all these places are tribal dominated. So there is a different socio-cultural problem that is residing there, and which is not present in any other district which is on the coastal belt of Odisha. And fourth reason could be the presence of left-wing extremism, red corridor. So most of the red corridor districts are situated in Western Odisha, which are in short creating different problem for development activities. And all these things are basically adding up to the regional disparity.
Okay. So there is a demand for setting up of a new bench of the Odisha High Court.
Yes, sir.
In Western Odisha and other parts also.
Yes, sir.
That has been a long-standing demand. Even government of Odisha is sympathetic towards it. They have written to the central government, okay, for the bench, but still it is not being considered by the Supreme Court. Do you have any reasons? Do you know?
Sir, I believe it is the population distribution. Although the geographic extent of Odisha is huge, but the population density is not that great, which makes logical sense to create a separate bench in Western Odisha. I believe that is the primary reason why the demand is not being heard by the Supreme Court. But I believe in terms of geographical extent, I believe the High Court bench can be established either in Balangir or Sambalpur, so that people from Western Odisha do not have to travel all the way from that place to Cuttack to complete their judicial work.
Okay. So, suppose you are posted in a backward district, okay, where the people are not, they have minimum knowledge about government schemes and all, okay, and also they are not ready to, they are very not very eager to change their lifestyle, okay, and you are posted in that area. Government wants some development projects, awareness projects, okay, to start in that area, but people are not showing any interest. Okay, since you are already managing people, so tell me, what will you do in this situation when your target population is uninterested and your organization is interested, in somehow giving them certain schemes for their welfare?
Sir, I think the first logical thing that can be done here is finding the local volunteers. We can call them as early adopters. We can teach them. So those people are those people should be the people whom the local people trust. So we need to educate those group of early adopters first regarding the benefit of the scheme or benefit of the program. So what benefit they are going to derive if some scheme is happening in that particular area. So later on, after enabling them with all the knowledge and the consequences, they can be deployed in those areas to teach the other people, like what could be the potential benefit they can get if something is being implemented. So this can be done, sir. And after we win the initial trust of people, probably that would be a easy task to convince the rest of the people and get a common consensus on how to go ahead with the plan.
Okay. So, tell me something about the recent Olympics and Paralympics and Odisha's connection with both of these events, or rather connection with the success of Indian players in both these events.
Yes, sir. So the significance of recent Olympic was that we won the individual gold medal. Like in athletics, we never won a gold. So that was for the first time India won an individual gold award medal in athletics. And the men's and women's hockey team did phenomenally well. Like till the 1960s, India used to win the gold medal every time. I think 6 years in a row. But after that, we didn't get any medal in hockey. But here, the men's hockey team won the bronze medal, and the women's hockey team also did phenomenally well. And in terms of Paralympic, the Odisha, Mr. Bhagat from Odisha, he won the gold medal in badminton in the Paralympics. So that was a very proud moment for Odisha, definitely. And our hockey player Biren Lakra and Amit Rohidas did phenomenally well. And the aftermath is that Odisha is going to create more avenues for hockey. We are going to nurture new talent, and new stadiums and new infrastructure are going to come up in Odisha as well. So that is a good scenario for hockey in Odisha going forward.
Okay. And is it like that the critics on the other hand say that we are a poor state and this much amount of money being given to sports person to encourage them or being spent on infrastructure, sports infrastructure? How is it tangibly or physically going to help Odisha?
Sir, I believe the brand image that Odisha is going to get over the years, over the next years, we need to account for that. I think at this moment we are spending so much money on developing infrastructure for hockey, but that thing had already started in the year 2018 when Odisha decided to host the first Hockey World Cup and create new stadium infrastructure for hockey players. And it was only recently that the world knew that it was Odisha who actually sponsored the Indian hockey team after they won the hockey bronze. So the initiatives which were taken in 2018, we are getting to see the results now. So similarly, the new steps that are being taken at this moment, so definitely that is going to create positive result in next 5 years or 10 years. So definitely the Odisha is going to create the next age hockey ecosystem for India. And no doubt there will be new players and many more talented players which will come from Odisha, or they will get trained in Odisha. So the brand image gets elevated in situations like this. So definitely it is good for the brand image. Although in the immediate future we are not going to get any tangible benefit, but in longer run, definitely if today we are able to attract infrastructure for hockey, the day after tomorrow we can develop infrastructure for other sports as well.
Okay, so that will be the end of the interview. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
तो feedback रे आपनकर आई कांटेक्ट भलो अछि खाली से जो अपन देखिबे सेटा रेकॉर्डिंग टा गोटे अ साउंड गोटे रहउछि तो आपण कहउछन अ साउंड गोटे रहउछि सेटा को देखिबे बाकी तो बहुत ही भलो अछि आ किछि मते किछि कहलो बेसिस स्कोप नहीं
सर इंट्रो रे सर माने नॉर्मली तो पचरा होनी बट यदि इंट्रो को आला माने एग्जैक्टली माने कोन कहबे
इंट्रोडक्शन तो पचरी माने एग्जैक्टली माने ना तो कहबेनी तो आपण जदि से आपण जोटा प्रथमे हबो डिब्रीफिंग का से डिब्रीफिंग में जदि आपण कहबे कि डोंट रिवील योर डोमिसाइल एंड ऑल दिस ताले आपण सीधा स्टार्ट करिवे हाईएस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन करंट स्टेटस माने कंसर्न्स करंट आपण कम करछन यू वर्किंग सो यू आपण सेटा कहबे तापरे हॉबीज
सर हॉबीज माने एक्स्ट्रा एक्टिविटीज सेटा सर इंट्रो रे
हां ओ एबु जनरली ए ईयर रहइबो आ बाकी किछि नै फैमिली बैकग्राउंड एबो सेवा सब से जल्दी पचरू जंती ताहले आपण कहबो
ओके
ओके बाकी तो ठीक अछि आपनकर तो कहबो नै एटा मु बोलुछि कोन